Hi guys, let's look at the next exercise. Before we start the exercise, let's revise the concept that we need to know for this exercise. Let's talk about what is x-intercept. Now, in the diagram that I have made here, x-intercept is basically the length OB, which means the point on which the line cuts the x-axis, which means where the value of y is 0, the point value of x. So any line when it cuts or intersects the x-axis, the point of intersection, the x value of it is the x-intercept. We've done y-intercept many times. So in this example, OA is the y-intercept. This is basically the point at which the line cuts the y-axis. The y value of it gives me the y-intercept. You can also say that y-intercept is the value of y when x is equal to 0. Now this exercise looks at forming an equation of a line. So in the first two exercises we looked at the slope, and then we looked at what would be the coordinates of a point, what would be the slope when line is parallel to each other, what would be the slope when two lines are perpendicular to each other. In this exercise we form equations of a line. So standard equation of a line, which we know, is y is equal to mx plus c. So if slope is given and the y-intercept is given, you can substitute them in this formula and you will get the value of the given equation. So y is equal to mx plus c, substitute value of slope and substitute value of y-intercept. Now in case the slope is given and a point on the line is given, which means the y-intercept is not given but a point on the line is given, then how do you form the equation? Then in that case the formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where m obviously is the slope and x1 y1 is a point on the line. So for example, let's say I have a line, I know that the slope for this line is, let's say, -1, and it passes through the point 0, 0. So I need to find the equation of this line. So this is how I'll use x1 y1 in this case is 0 0 and the slope is -1. So I'll substitute the value and I'll get a equation of a line which has a slope of -1 and passes through a given point. Next, in case the slope is not given but 2 points on the line are given, which means let's say this is the point and this point, let's say, is 1 2, and let's say this point is 3 7. If we need to find the slope of this line, well, step 1, if both x1 y1 and x2 y2 are given, we'll find the slope using the formula that we've learned. Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. And once we know the slope and we already know any of these 2 points, then we'll go back to method 2, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Right? So in this case, we'll first find the slope and then we'll substitute in the same equation y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And the fourth and the final kind, which is if both x-intercept and y-intercept are given, then how do you form the equation of a line? In that case, the formula is x by a up plus y by b is equal to 1. Now, this is a special formula. When we solve a question about this, I'll show you two methods of solving it. But let's just remember the formula for now. X by a plus y by b is equal to 1. So this is the formula. And the most important in this chapter would be y is equal to mx plus c and y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And then the last part about this exercise, which is equally inclined lines. Now, as the name suggests, these are equally inclined, which means for both of them, for lines, which means two lines or more lines which are making the same angle. And where do they make the same angle? With both the coordinate axes. So let's look at the line AB that I've made, which passes through this point O. The angle that it's making with the x-axis is 45 degree, and the angle that it's making with the y-axis is also 45 degree. So this is an equally inclined line, makes a same angle with x as well as y. There'll be another such line. Let's look at CD, which makes an angle of -45 degree with the x-axis and also an angle of 45 degree with the y-axis. So equally inclined will always be will have the same angle between x-axis and the y-axis. Now let's look at some questions and let's solve them. So this brings me to 14C, question number 2. Find the equation of a line where the y-intercept is -1 and the inclination is 45 degree. So I know the formula y is equal to mx plus c is the standard equation of a line. So in this equation of a line, in this case, theta is equal to 45 degree, which means m is equal to tan theta, which means tan 45 degree. Therefore, m is equal to 1, since tan 45 is 1. And I know the formula y is equal to mx plus c. So let's substitute m is equal to 1. So put m is equal to 1 and c, which is the y-intercept, is equal to -1 in y is equal to mx plus c, and I get y is equal to 1 times x plus c, which is -1. The equation of the line is y is equal to x minus 1. Simple, right? Let's look at the next one. Question number 3. In this case, find the equation of the line whose slope is -4/3 and which passes through -3, 4. So equation of the line is given by the formula. Equation of line is given by the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So in this case, this is x1 and this is y1 and this is equal to m. So put m is equal to -4/3 and x1 y1 is equal to -3, 4. What we get, y minus y1, which is 4, is equal to m. M is -4/3 times x minus x1. x1 is -3, which means this becomes x plus 3. Let's cross multiply, which means 3y minus 12. 3y minus 12 is equal to -4x minus 12. Which means -12 and -12 are common, get cancelled, which means 3y plus 4x is equal to 0. Now, how should you write your answer? Ideally, I can write my answer. I should write my answer in the form y is equal to mx plus c, which means had I written this answer like this, then my answer would have been 3y is equal to -4x, or in fact, I could have also written as y is equal to -4/3x. But I would not recommend you to write this as this, because ICSE recommends and suggests that you write your answer in whole numbers and not in fraction. So this would be a recommended answer and this would be a recommended answer. I would strongly urge you not to use answer in fraction form. Write it in the whole number form, or integer form rather. Let's look at the next question. The next question is question number 5, part 1. Find the equation of the line passing through 0, 1 and 1, 2. So in this case, the slope is not given. So we'll first have to calculate the slope. So slope is equal to m will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In this case, 2 minus 1 upon 1 minus 0, which is 1 upon 1, which is equal to 1. Now put m is equal to 1 and x1 y1. Which one would you want to take x1 y1 as? Let's take it 0, 1 is equal to 0, 1 in the equation y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So let's put this y minus y1. y1 is 1, m we calculated as 1, x minus x1 is 0, which means y minus 1 is equal to x, which means we could also write this as y is equal to x plus 1. So that's the equation of the line which passes through 0, 1 and 1, 2. Simple, right? So as long as you remember this one formula, which is y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1, you should be able to solve all the questions in this exercise. So let's move on. The next question that we do is question number 7. It says the coordinates of 2 points are -3, 4 and 2, -1. We need to find the equation of AB. So to calculate the equation of AB, again 2 points are given, which means I'll first need to find the slope. The slope of AB will be given by y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In this case, y2, let's take it to be 4, minus y1, which is minus of negative 1, which is plus 1, upon x2 is negative 3, minus of 2, which means 5 upon negative 5, which means negative 1. Therefore, m is equal to negative 1. Now we know the standard equation is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, which means y minus y1, we take it as 4, is equal to m is negative 1, x minus x1, which minus of negative 3, which means x plus 3. Let's open the bracket. Y minus 4 is equal to negative x minus 3, which means y plus x. Let's take x on the other side, and this becomes negative 3 plus 4, which means 1. So y plus x is equal to 1. So that's the equation of this line. Y plus x is equal to 1. So my part 1 is done. This is y plus x is equal to 1. I could have also left the answer as y is equal to negative x plus 1. That's also fine. Let's look at the point of intersection on y-axis. So intersection on y-axis, which means we are trying to calculate the y-intercept. So intersection on y-axis be, let's say if it is intersecting on y-axis, which means value of x is 0 and the value of y we don't know. So which means put x is equal to 0 in y plus x is equal to 1, and we get 0 plus x is equal to 1, which means x is equal to 1. So what do we have to calculate? We need to figure out the coordinates of the point where the line intersects y-axis. Then the coordinates would be, oh my mistake, this is not 0 plus x, this is 0 plus y. Right, this is 0 plus y. My mistake, this is 0 plus y. We are putting value of x as 0. So y plus 0 is equal to 1, which means y is equal to 1, which means the point of intersection is 0, 1. So the point of intersection on y-axis is 0, 1. Next question, question number 9. Let's look at the question. It says triangle ABC are some points. Find the equation of the median through A. So let's, for our reference, let's make a small rough diagram and see what exactly we want to calculate. So in this case, this is A, this is B, and this is C. They want me to calculate equation of median from A. So median would divide the base into two equal parts, which means let's call this point D. Let AD be the median. So which means BD and CD are equal. So let's first calculate the coordinates of D. I know the coordinates of A. Coordinates of A are 3, 5. Coordinates of B are 7, 8. And coordinates of C are 1, negative 10. So using midpoint formula, basically I'm trying to find the value of D. Using midpoint formula, D will be equal to 7 plus 1 upon 2 and 8 minus 10 upon 2. So that's 4, 8 minus 10 is negative 2 upon 2, which means negative 1. So I have calculated the value of coordinates of D, which means 4, negative 1. So now we need to calculate the equation of AD. So calculate, now I know coordinates of both 2 points on the line. So let's calculate the slope of AD first. So slope of AD will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In this case, y2 be 5, minus of negative 1 means plus 1, x2 is 3, minus x1 is 4. So that's 6 upon negative 1, which means negative 6. So now we know the equation of AD will be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Let's substitute. So y minus y1, let's take that point to be 5, is equal to m, which is negative 6 times x minus x1, that's 3. Let's open the bracket. Y minus 5 is equal to negative 6x plus 18, which means y plus 6x is equal to 18 plus 5, which means 23. So y plus 6x is equal to 23. Therefore, equation of median through A is y plus 6x is equal to 23. That's my final answer. I hope you realize what we were doing. Basically, we need to figure out the slope and one point on the line, or if we don't know the slope, then we need to figure out 2 points on that line. Let's look at the next question. The next question is question number 10. It says following figure shows a parallelogram, which means AB is parallel to CD and AD is parallel to BC. Perfect. And AB is parallel to x-axis. So since AB parallel to x-axis and parallel to CD, because AB and CD are parallelogram, it's a parallelogram, which means these will be equal. So what we have to calculate, find the equations of BC and CD. Therefore, slope of AB will be equal to slope of CD, which will be equal to slope of x-axis. And the slope of x-axis we know is 0, so this is equal to 0. So what would be the equation of CD? So equation of CD, now I know the slope of CD and I know a point on that line. So equation of CD will be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So what's the value of y1? It's passing through 0.75, which means y1 is 5, m is 0, x minus 7, which means y is equal to 5. So this line, which is CD, is y is equal to 5. Done. So let's look at the next part. In that next part, which is, so we figured out the slope of equation of CD. Let's look at equation of BC. So what angle is it making with the, if I extend it slightly, what angle will it make with the x-axis? Yes, this angle will be the same as this 60 degree because these are parallel lines and this will be corresponding angle. So theta for BC is equal to 60 degree. Therefore, slope of BC, no, not BC, slope of line BC will be equal to tan 60 degree, which means root 3. So slope of BC is root 3, and I know BC passes through 7, 5. So let's put it in this equation. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Substituting values, I get y1 is 5 is equal to root 3 times x minus 7. Let's open the bracket. I get y minus 5 is equal to root 3x minus 7 root 3. Let's take all numbers on one side. So y is equal to root 3x minus 7 root 3 plus 5. So this is the equation of the line BC. So what did we do? We calculated slope first and then we put it in one formula, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And that gives us the answer. Perfect. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we do is question number 11. So question 11, you can put a small star on that question. A very interesting question. Question number 11 says, find the equation of a line passing through origin. Okay, so the equation line passes through origin and the point of intersection of these two lines. Oh, so let me just draw a rough diagram to figure out what are they talking about. So let's say this is my origin. So this line that we need to find the equation of passes through origin. Perfect. And it also passes through the intersection of these two lines, which means let this point be the intersection of these two lines. Let's say this line is x plus 2y is equal to 7, and let's say this line is x minus y is equal to 4. So I need to find the equation of, so I need to know the equation of this line. This is just a visual representation of what we need to figure out. This my line, required line, passes through origin, which is 0, 0, and also passes through the point of intersection of these two lines. So first I need to figure out the point of intersection. Only then I will have two coordinates, 0, 0 and this one, and then I should be able to form my equation. So how do I solve this? Does anyone remember how to solve two equations? Yes, simultaneous equations. So first we'll find out the point of intersection. So point of intersection of x plus 2y is equal to 7 and x minus y is equal to 4. Let's solve them simultaneously. So this will be x plus 2y is equal to 7 and x minus y is equal to 4. Subtract negative, positive, negative. This becomes cancelled. 2y plus y, that 3y, and 7 minus 4 is 3. Therefore, y is equal to 1. So put y is equal to 1 in x minus y is equal to 4. It gives me x minus 1 is equal to 4, which means x is equal to 5. So therefore, point of intersection is 5, 1. So now I know the coordinates of the point of intersection, and this is 5, 1. So now this question becomes exactly like what we've been doing till now. I know 2 points on this line. One is 0, 0 and the other is 5, 1. So now I need to figure out the slope of this required line. So let's write this. Slope of required line will be given by y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In this case, y2 let it be 1, y1 is 0, x2 be 5, x1 is 0. So this is equal to 1 upon 5. So the slope of the required line is 1 upon 5. So now we need to find the equation. So equation of required line will be given by the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus y1, let's take y1 as 1, m is 1 by 5, x minus x1, let's take it to be 5. Let's cross multiply. So this will be 5y minus 5 is equal to x minus 5. Minus 5 and minus 5 gets cancelled from both sides. So I get 5y minus x is equal to 0. So this is the required equation. Let's look at this once again. Interesting question. First, we figured out the point of intersection. How did we figure that out? We solved these two linear equations simultaneously. Once we got the point of intersection, now this question was very simple. I need to find the equation of a line which passes through 0, 0 and 5, 1. So simple. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we'll do will be question number 13. So question number 13 says ABC have coordinates something, something, something. Find the equation of the line through A and perpendicular to BC. So what we are basically looking at is, this is, let's say, BC. Let's say this is BC, and I need to find the equation of a line from A and perpendicular to BC. And this is point A. A is given as 0, 3, C is 8, 0, and B is 4, 4. So I need to find the equation. Let this point of intersection be D. So I need to find the equation of this line. Again, this is just for purely representation purpose. 0, 3, these are not the specific quadrants in which these 3 points will lie. So first, let's find the equation of BC. Not equation, first find the slope of BC. If I know the slope of BC, I know the slope of AD will be, if I multiply these two slopes, it will give me -1. I remember M1 into M2 is equal to -1 if two lines are perpendicular. So let me find slope of BC, which will help me find slope of AD, and AD passes through x1, y1 here. So that's how I'll try and solve the question. Let's look at this. So slope of BC will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In this case, y2 is 4, y1 is 0, x2 is 8, and x1 is 4. So this is 4 upon 4, which is equal to 1. So slope of BC One second, have I done this correct? 4 minus 0 and 4 minus 8. No, I haven't done this properly. In this case, this is not 8 minus 4, but 4 minus 8. Let's look at this once again. I have taken 4, this as x2, y2, and I have taken this as x1, y1. Let's look at this. 4 minus 0, y2 minus y1, and x2 minus x1. Perfect. So then the slope is 4 upon negative 4, which means this is equal to negative 1. So let's write, since required line is perpendicular to BC, therefore slope of required line multiplied with slope of BC will give me negative 1. So therefore slope of required line into negative 1 is equal to negative 1. Therefore slope of the required line is equal to 1. So I know the slope of this line now is 1 and it passes through 0, 3. So I know I can find the equation. So equation of required line. How can I write this? This is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. I know the value of m. I know the points where this required line passes through. So it will be y minus y1. y1 is 3 and m. The slope for this is 1 times x minus x1, in this case 0. Please don't go by x2, y2 and x1, y1 here. This is for the line BC. Now we are looking at the line AD. So for in this case, I am taking this to be x1, y1, right? So don't get confused by x1, y1 here and I'm taking these values because this was x1, y1 for the line BC. Now I am referring to the line AD. So let's open this. This will be y minus 3 is equal to x, which means y is equal to x plus 3. So this is the required equation. So this is the equation of the required line. Perfect. Let's look at the next question. The next question that we'll do will be question number 15. So question 15 part 1 says find the equation of the line whose x-intercept is 5 and y-intercept is 3. So like I said when I started this video, we will try and do these questions in two methods. So let me do this with method 1 where I am not using the formula. Let me try. So if x-intercept is 5, what's the point? Since x-intercept is 5, which means the point that we are referring to is 5, 0. Because the x-intercept is 5, which means the value of x is 5 and y is 0. Since y-intercept is 3, which means the point is 0, 3. X value is 0, y value is 3. So now the question becomes very simple. Now I have a line which passes through these 2 points. How do I find the equation of that line? Well, I will first calculate the slope. So slope of required line will be m is equal to y2 minus y1. So 3 minus 0 upon 0 minus 5, which means negative 3 upon 5. Right? So this is the slope of the required line. So equation of a required line will be y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus y1, let's take y1 as 3 and slope is negative 3 by 5 times x minus x1, that's 0. Let's cross multiply. 5y minus 15 is equal to negative 3x, which means 5y plus 3x is equal to 15. Yes, 5y plus 3x is equal to 15. So this is the equation of the required line. Now let's do this another question with method 2. In method 2, the only difference is you will have to remember a new formula, so which is x upon a plus y upon b is equal to 1, where A is equal to x-intercept. I hope you remember this formula that we talked about it in the beginning of the video, and B is equal to the y-intercept. So now let's substitute. So put x is equal to, not x, put A, since A is the x-intercept. A is equal to -8 and B is equal to -4. Let's see what do I get. X upon -8 plus y upon -4 is equal to 1, which means -x upon 8 minus y upon 4 is equal to 1. Let's take LCM. The LCM of 8 and 4 is 8, which means -x minus 2y is equal to 1. Let's cross multiply, which means -x minus 2y is equal to 8. Let's take everything on one side, which means 2y plus x plus 8 is equal to 0. So that's the equation of the line which they want. Now this is method 2, where I had to remember a new formula, which is x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. This is method 1, where I don't need to remember a formula, but I need to remember that x-intercept means value of y is 0 and y-intercept means value of x is 0. Now I have these 2 points. First I'll calculate the slope, and then I'll put in the standard equation y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. That brings me to an end of this video. Let's look at some homework questions for you. So question number 4, question number 6, question number 12, and question number 14. That's about it. Thank you so much. Take care and be safe. Bye bye.